Hi, this is Maurice LaMarche, and that name will mean nothing to you nor the sound of my voice, unless I become the brain from TV's Pinky and the Brain, or Calculon, the star of all my circuits from Futurama. Oh, he is a bottle, so from Futurama.
Puny human, this is Morbo the newscaster. On tonight's news, you're listening to Still Toking with on the Darkening Podcast Network. I will destroy you.
Now I'm proving that this battle I am never losing. I'm choosing to ignore the cuts and bumps and bruises.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Still Toking with. I have taken over the role of the monkey behind the keyboard.
More like an 8.
Hey, quiet down. You get no bananas. No bananas for you. But in all seriousness, I am extremely excited about tonight's show because not only do we have an amazing guest, and I mean amazing, we have an amazing special co-host.
Well, thank you.
Well, I wasn't talking about you.
Oh, okay.
but our amazing special co-host tonight joining us all the way from sunny CA, putting the flashback in flashy, Mr. Jeffrey Mark.
Wow, I'm a special co-host. You're absolutely correct. Happy to be here and really happy to be with my buddy John.
Awesome. And of course, yeah, that was the other voice you heard in your ear.
I'm the voice inside your head.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, I got to share the ones that are in mine, right?
Well, true that.
You know, I'm just saying. So, you know, yeah, I grew up with this guy here, and I know he's on a tight schedule. He's actually in his car, I think. Let's just bring him in. Johnny Whitaker, welcome to the show.
Hey, well, thank you, Jeff, and everybody else. And Jeffrey Mark, how you doing?
I am so happy to see you, even if it has to be on video.
Yes, I'm Ben.
We live in different cities, you know. We don't always get to see each other.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of a show like this. No matter where you are in the world, we can put a show together and interview somebody. And even if
I just hope that the LAPD or the sheriffs don't find me, but my fingers are down below, so you don't.
That's always his excuse, you know. His fingers are down below.
Right, the fingers are down below. So you're not necessarily.
Yeah, I gotta watch what I say with you guys, because you take everything with a double entendre.
John,
right?
You know you're in trouble when I'm the one who's trying to protect you. You know you're in trouble.
Yes, true that.
So, folks, John is actually joining us from his car because right now he is working. Correct? And
I am.
Tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about what you're actually doing right now.
Well, I have a nonprofit called Paso por Paso, and that helps individuals who have mental health needs find treatment and recovery, find a place to live, and that's what I've done with my friend that I have here. And we're taking him to his new house. He stayed with me for a couple of days while we were trying to find a place for him, and we did. And actually another individual found the place, and we're very happy. And so in a little bit, I'm going to have to excuse myself while I take care of the paperwork, but that shouldn't take long. Just like, you know, number 2 takes a little bit more paperwork, takes a little longer. I will take a little longer. But because everything's on the computer, I think I can probably do it fairly quickly.
No, that
no worries. Yeah, I mean, no worries.
Well, yeah, me too.
I just want to say bravo for all that you're doing for the
people
the
that need the help. Yeah,
the folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just real quick to our viewers and listeners, if you check our show notes, you'll find out a lot about John and his nonprofit, plus everything else this amazing gentleman has done. But there are a lot of helpful links up there for veterans, suicide awareness, drug addiction, So if you feel lost, there's numbers there, man. There's people out there like John, like Jeffrey, that will talk to you.
Absolutely.
You know, and I want to say bravo to both of you, especially the roles that you both have been in over the years, to give back to a community that could use it in that aspect.
Well, I've been pretty public about my stuff, but I think the general public doesn't know how much non-show business, non-getting paid for good work John has done his whole life.
Right.
He's a very, very spiritual man. He's brilliant. He's well-educated. He's multilingual. All of that is apart and aside from his great talents in show business as an actor and a comedian. And I think because he's shy to share that kind of stuff, I wish more folks knew, like, wow, you've got a friend in John Whitaker, because he's worked his whole life to help you, whoever you are.
Right. I see a book coming.
Yes, it is. I've got 4 Hail Mary passes that I'm throwing out in my 65th year. I turned 65 in December, and in March or April, I'm starting a short film that I wrote and co-wrote with a buddy of mine, and I'm starring in it, and I've got a young lady friend of mine. Hopefully she will agree. She's already said she would do it if time were good, but I can't mention her name just yet. And but it's called Sky Blue, SKYEBLEU movie.com, and SKYEBLEU movie.com. And it's about a white Southern supremacist who finds that he is the only relative to his mixed race granddaughter.
Wow. That's
and you are just right for the part, John.
Well,
not the bigoted part, the other part.
No, and the old man.
Keep in mind, I'm always going to be a year older than you are, so yes, it's okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a power flicker.
Oh, that's okay. But it is what it's just a short 30 minutes. And then my second Hail Mary is I'm having a cruise to Mexico from Los Angeles, and it's going to be a week. And we were going to have our friend Jeffrey and my friend Wesley Ewer, but he's going to be in Europe instead of in Puerto Vallarta. But we're going to stop in Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo San Lucas, and Ensenada. Wow. And since I speak fluent Spanish, we're going to get, let's see, where am I going? I think I missed the turn, but that's okay. Anyway, we're going to be having a great time, and fans and friends are going to join me on this. And then I've got a book coming out, like you said.
Very nice.
And then I have a documentary on the drug policy of Portugal. And the drug policy of Portugal is the fact that they have decriminalized all mind-altering substances in Portugal. Wow. And I am for decriminalization, but they tried it in Oregon, but they didn't have some stopgaps that were necessary. Right. And without those, they couldn't get it to do what they were supposed to do. So.
And Johnny also speaks fluent Portuguese.
Portuguese, Spanish, French, and American Sign Language.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, my 20-month-old granddaughter is learning English, Spanish, and sign language.
Wow.
Excellent.
Yeah. Her dad is from Guatemala. And my daughter,
that's going to help.
Yep. My daughter actually went to school for early child care with disability. So she learned sign language. So she's teaching my granddaughter sign language. You know.
Great.
So yeah.
Well, it's so important if the ability is there to speak more than one language at home.
Mm-hmm.
My father spoke fluent Spanish, and although I'm one of 8 children, I'm the only one who speaks fluent Spanish. But from a young age, he taught us and insisted that we learn and speak Spanish. And so that's what we did.
Right.
It's so important for brain development because I think it makes for more intelligent children and children who are more open to all the different cultures.
Well, yeah, that, and it also helps later in life with getting a good job. You know.
Yeah, in some ways it does. Yeah.
You know. Well, yeah. I mean, multiple languages. If you can speak multiple languages, there's really no bars that can hold you back other than yourself.
Yeah, my granddaughter is learning Arabic because she wants to go into politics and be a political, not a prisoner, but
maybe
a political. Yeah, hopefully not.
Right.
Anyway, working with the politics of government and dealing with the international government, international laws.
Right. That's
I
really
wish
cool.
I knew sign language. All I get is hand gestures, usually while I'm driving.
Yeah, I get that. Well, you can learn this one.
Yes.
That's I love you.
Yeah, that's I love you.
And if you go like this,
I-L-Y. I love you.
And this means you're cute. No, I'm serious. No.
Okay.
This means if you're with people who don't speak, who use sign language, and they look at you and they go, that means they think you're cute.
Oh, not that they have something on their chin.
No, you have to do
That
this.
too.
Oh, okay.
That too, he says.
Just wanted to clarify.
So, I mean, you've had such an illustrious career. You actually started acting in commercials at the age of 3.
With 3.5.
Tomato. I mean, so what was it like for you being a child actor back?
Well, you know, one of the things that I look at is I never realized that I was anything special. I knew that when I got up at 6 a.m. for family prayer, and then we went to breakfast, and then by 7 I needed to be in the car with my mom, and my brothers and sisters were still getting ready for school, and Mom and I drove to the studio. 8 o'clock I had to be I had to be at the studio. Then I would get dressed into wardrobe, and by 8:15 I had to be in school, if not in school, on the set. And I did that until 1 o'clock, and in and out of school and on the set. Then we had 1 hour of lunch, rest and recreation, and then I had to go back to the set and on, school and set until 4 o'clock. We couldn't do school after 4. And then we were doing work again until 5. And at 5 o'clock I had to leave. And then we drove home, and I got home at 6:15. And then we had family dinner. and my brothers and sisters would, be doing their homework. I didn't have to do homework if I was working, because that's just the way it is in when you're doing, television and movies and working on the set. So hold on, I got to be a little. There we go. Okay.
No worries.
Anyway, and that was my day, except for my mother would come up at night and read me my scripts in my sleep. So I would kind of memorize my lines in my sleep, then start again the next day and read my lines on the way to work, but, not a whole lot of difference.
Right.
Now, where were you in the sibling hierarchy? Older?
Well,
younger?
I was a middle child.
Okay.
I kind of shared the middle with my sister Linda, and I'm the oldest of the youngest four, or the youngest of the oldest five.
Okay.
Right in the middle.
Yeah. So I've got the middle child.
Go ahead.
Problem.
You had mentioned going to school. You were on the Desilu lot. Was it just for your show, or did you go to school with other Desilu kids?
No. I only went with Mrs. Deeney, who was our teacher for all 5 years of Family Affair. So it was Anissa Jones and myself. Now, if we had any special guest stars, then we might have. I am lost. Just a second. Do you know where we are? No. Let's see.
He's good at keeping us in suspense. It's okay. He's been very theatrical and keeping us in suspense. It works.
I love it.
Yes. But I thought I needed to go this way to get back to Parthenia. Yes, I'm in wonderful downtown Panorama City.
So there's a lot
which
of
is a very colorful part of town with a lot of different.
Let's just say this is not brought to you. This is not brought to you by NBC.
Anyway, but let me just see. I got go back to Roscoe, which is coming up, and we will. Okay. So having my mom read me my lines in my sleep, I think that was one of the things that would help me to memorize the lines and keep them, in my head, so that the next day when I was on the set, I was reading at 5 years old. And most kids, unless, some kids today, if they're going to preschool, can read at 5. But in the 60s, when I was growing up, most 5-year-olds can't read and or couldn't read. So, that was school with Mrs. Deeney. If we had a guest star, up to 5 kids, so that would be me, Anissa Jones, and 3 other kids. If it was more than that, like if we were doing a classroom scene or a scene with the park, then they would bring in another teacher for every 10 children. Okay. And but I didn't have school with other kids on the lot. Now, on the Disney lot, they had the old Disney Red Schoolhouse. And the Red Schoolhouse is what they had for everybody that was going to school that day, and they all went together. But that was for mostly the Mouseketeers and some others. But most everybody was the laws in the state of California from the 40s to current were all specifically made to benefit the children working in show business. And that meant that a child had to have a teacher on the set and or a welfare worker. So if the child was not old enough to go to school, then they would have a welfare worker there. So, and then if it wasn't a welfare worker, well, it was a welfare worker or a teacher all the time.
Right.
Okay.
So, real quick, we have a lot of people watching and stuff, but we have a message from Margene Holden, the lovely Margene Holden. She says, "Hi, Johnny."
Oh, I love you, Margene.
Margene was actually. Go ahead.
Yes, she was with my sister for a while as a person, and but I have tell her to give me a private message me. I have some information for her that's important but kind of private.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, Margene, I believe, was on season 4 with us.
Oh, either
great.
3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
Yeah. So,
John, we've mentioned Desilu and Disney. As a child or as a pubescent person, because I think it was a little later for you at Disney, was there a difference in studio styles that you prefer? Oh, Desilu is better than, or no, Disney is much better than. Was there a preference for you?
Well, Desilu was just the box that I was in. It had nothing to do with the producers, because the producers of Family Affair were Edmund Hartman and Don Feddersen.
Right.
Don Feddersen Productions. So as far as that first year was at Desilu, and then second, third, fourth, and fifth season were all done at CBS Radford. So again, it was the producers that were different, or the producers were the same. It was just the box that was different.
Okay. And at Disney, was it different there because it was a Disney production?
Well, from what I've heard and understand, Disney has made a whole lot of changes, good, bad, or indifferent, however you want to look at them. And when I was there, Mr. Disney, Walt Disney, had passed in '69, I believe. No, when?
67.
You can say 67. No, 66. Oh, okay. My friend here.
Yeah, right around the holidays.
Okay, 66, 67. And so that was right when I was starting show business, basically, or as far as Family Affair goes and all of that. But
right.
His brother was someone that I did see on a semi-regular basis. And so we would work together, and, you know, he was there on the set. I was supposed to do 5 Walt Disney movies, but I only did 4 because I got the offer to do Tom Sawyer, which many people think is a Walt Disney film because it was written and the music produced by the Disney stars, or the stars of many Disney films, the music, the Sherman brothers, Richard and Robert Sherman. But it was not a Disney film. It was a United Artists, Appjack Productions. And it was, I got that part, and so I had to give up my other role, and it was going to be a second role to work with my brother from The Mystery in Dracula's Castle, Scott Colden, who then I had to make it up to him by making sure he got the part in Sigmund and the Sea Monsters as my brother Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then you and I got to work one time at Disney together, and that was a lot of fun.
That was a great deal of fun. We did the 50th anniversary.
75th.
Oh, 75th anniversary, because I thought that just happened.
No, the 100th is like happening.
Oh, okay. Anyway, the 75th anniversary of Disney Studio. And we got to interview the great president of Disney Studio at that time. And
we were the only one. There were news groups, and we were working for cable radio network, and Michael Eisner said no interviews except for two things: how much he loved John, and that when I interviewed Minnie and Mickey Mouse, I interviewed them in character and not as persons. And for those two reasons, but mostly because of John, Michael came and sat with we were the only ones all day he talked to. So good for us. Yay. Which tells you how beloved John was at Disney Studios.
Right. So, real quick, I want to bring this back because you said, 66, 65. In 1965, you originated a role on a show that is still going strong today. And when I told my wife that you originated this role, she damn near fell out of her chair. But you originated the role of Scotty Baldwin on General Hospital.
Yes.
Yep.
How?
Well, in Hollywood, you do what you do.
Right.
The casting directors at that time would send out a fax with all of the, but even they didn't have faxes then, so it was like a teletype.
Carrier pigeon.
And they would teletype all the upcoming roles, and my agent, Mary Grady, at the time, saw that they needed a smart kid that was, going to be the adopted son of Dr. Baldwin. I forget what my real name was, but I became the adopted son of the Baldwins and of Dr. Baldwin. But I only did one season, and then Bobby Rhea took my role the next year.
And I think eventually Alec Baldwin played the part as a grown-up.
No.
No?
I've got my friend here is a soap opera
encyclopedia.
pugilist. Yes.
Yeah,
So
I apologize to your friend. Other than my friends who are in soap operas, I'm not a specialist there. So
no. And neither am I.
Hold on, we'll get it. So who was he was on The Doctor.
You're absolutely right. I apologize.
There you go.
Right. And the only reason I brought it up is because, like I said, when I had mentioned to my wife who I was, who was going to be on the show, she's like, well, how do I know him? And I mentioned that, and she was like, what? And I was like, that was like before we were even thought of. But she still watches it like religiously every day. And I'm like,
oh sure.
No, it's not a good thing. It's a good thing, but it's not a good thing. But,
absolutely.
But we actually are here to chat a little bit about the re-release of Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
Yes, 50th anniversary this year, right?
The 50th anniversary, right?
Yeah.
It's actually the 51st.
Potato.
I'll take
it.
The
50th anniversary of Land of the Lost, because they came in and stole our caves when we weren't working. But yeah, Land of the Lost came in one season after us, and it is the 50th anniversary of Land of the Lost for, Wesley, you, and Kathy Coleman.
Yep. Another great show. I mean, I watched both of them growing up. I loved both the shows,
John, there was someone you worked with on Sigmund that was very important and dear to both of us. Could you talk a minute or two about Rip?
Well, hello. Rip Taylor, I got to know him as an adult and got to know, as a child and a teenager growing up, I just thought he was kind of quirky and weird, but he was getting paid and I was getting paid. So we were happy, getting paid, working together. He was Rip Taylor, the big star of television screen and Las Vegas. So we didn't have a whole lot of interaction at that time, but as we get older, I was producing a play and I found out that the other producer wanted Rip Taylor. And I said, absolutely, that's a great role. And we met and we talked and I got his phone number and we continued our relationship for the next 15, 20 years until he passed away. And it was always great to be able to go on little trips with him and to go on autograph shows where he was there, and just a blast to be with.
I have a wonderful photo of you and Rip and I at one of the Hollywood shows when we were all working it, and I treasure it.
Oh yeah.
As you know, and I think the boys know, all of the bling thing, that was Rip's idea for me. I've enhanced it through the years, but going back a long time ago, Rip says, you
can work it, baby.
Proudly.
Like I said, putting the flash in flashy.
That's it.
So Rip started it, and I'll be forever grateful for some of the best career advice I was ever given.
But you know where Rip got it from?
Yes.
Jeffrey?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to say it. Go ahead.
Liberace.
I know. I wanted you to say it.
No problem.
I was going to do an Ed Norton and say liberace, but I thought it'd be better coming from your mouth.
Oh, yeah,
that makes total sense.
Liberace, being a good friend of Rip's, told him to bling it up, and so he always did.
And it changed the course of his career, and then it changed the course of my career. So
wow.
we're all grateful to Liberace.
So I've got to take my bling and make it more visible? Is that what you're saying?
No, Jeff.
Absolutely.
Jeff, you have biceps. You're doing just fine.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
what's your secret there, Jeff?
What's that?
Yeah, what's your secret there with your biceps?
A lot of spanking, I think we talked about before.
Oh, cheapest.
Show him. Jeff, show him. Give him an example.
So that is
there you go.
Yeah.
It takes so little to
not
make me
bad
happy.
for 61.
right. That was what?
Not bad.
40 years in the construction industry.
Yeah.
That helps.
I work with my hands. Yeah.
Well, we already knew that, but we're talking about how you got the bicep. Well, no, that doesn't give you biceps. That gives you this muscle right here.
Yeah,
no, it actually strengthens a different muscle, boys. But let's get back to John.
Right. Back to John. You are the one that took us off the rails there, Mr. Jeffrey Mark.
I'm swinging you back because I want my buddy to get all the attention.
No.
Right.
So
I wanted to ask you about a quote that I kind of found that you said about the Family Affair show. That it was too sugar and spice.
Too much.
Yeah, it was. I think what you were trying to say when you said that was it was too. It wasn't realistic enough as a family, maybe.
Well,
That's why
maybe
I
I
wanted
was
to ask
high
you
at
what
the
you
time.
meant.
I may have been token at the time.
Okay.
You know, I've got 27 years clean and sober, so we got to go back and find out if it was pre-sobriety or post-sobriety. But I'll take any or all of those. And but I would say it was mostly. I look at Family Affair as 27 minutes of a Aesop's fable or
Okay.
a grim fairy tale.
Okay.
And that there was always a message that was tried to get in at the end. And that message would be, positive for the kids that were there, that were watching. You know, it was the Buffy and Jody show.
Mhm.
And everybody wanted to see Buffy and Jody. So that's basically what was going on. And, that was how things went about.
May I bring up a subject that's sad, but I think it speaks so much to the human being. Brian Keith was the titular star of the show, although everyone tuned in for Buffy and Jody. When Brian
and the older women like, Buffy and the older women like Brian Keith, and then the older boys liked Kathy Garver Sissy because she was the only one with boobs. Well, Mr. French had boobs too, but
what I was going to bring up was I was going to ask you to tell the story of as Brian Keith faced a certain challenge and made a certain decision, you got a phone call. Can you talk about that without crying? Did he not call you when he made a certain decision?
No. I had called him.
Okay. Tell the story.
I had heard that he was on his way out. And when Mary Wicks passed away, I was very upset that Hollywood didn't make a bigger deal about it.
Me too.
And that I didn't know about it. Because I would have liked to have, recognized her and, just been there as love and support for her and her family. And Hollywood was her family, basically. I mean, she was there right after the talkies. And when she passed away at one of the autograph shows, somebody had told me, and I got really frustrated and angry. And so somebody had heard that Brian was passing. And then I called my agent, and I called a friend of mine who worked at another agency where Brian was doing voiceovers, and found his phone number and called him. And when I did, I called straight, and this is still when there were landlines, and I figured I would be listening to a nurse or an assistant, and it said, "Hello." "Hello, Brian? Who the hell's this?" And I said, "Well, this is Johnny Whitaker." He said, "Johnny Whitaker? How the hell did you get my number?" And I said, "Well, I got it from the police of the police." And he just went on about how he wants to be private and, all of that. And unfortunately, this was right after, his daughter, she passed from an overdose of cocaine in April of that year. And he just talked about April passing and being upset about that. And I said, children should not die before their parents. And my sister had passed. And I said, would you like to talk to my mother? And he said, hell yes, I would love to. And anyway, we talked for about 10, 15 minutes, and I didn't want to take much of his time because it was laborious for him to talk with me. And I just said, well, Brian, I just want you to know that I love you and I care for you. And, I've learned a lot from you. And he says, well, this is probably the last time you're going to talk to me. And I said, well, I hope not, but I'm glad I got a chance to just let you know that I love you. And 5 days later, he took a gun or a rifle and decided to end the pain that he had. But he had a full Catholic funeral. And so I believe that he probably discussed what was going to happen with his priest, because the great Irish priest that gave a great goodbye to Brian was wonderful. And, so I believe that, as Kathy Garver said, that Brian went to meet the Grim Reaper instead of having the Grim Reaper meet him.
Right. So we hear a lot of stories like that, children passing before their parents due to overdosing on one substance or another. You actually are a child advocate drug counselor, correct?
Absolutely. And every September, which is Recovery Month,
yep.
Jeffrey was there with us this year, along with Tom Arnold. Mm-hmm. Jeffrey and Tom were our celebrity guests, and we celebrate the lives of those who have passed due to overdose and drug addiction and alcoholism. Yep. And we celebrate lives recovered, like Tom and Jeffrey and myself.
Right. I do remember that.
If anybody has somebody, please, in your show notes, make sure overdose awareness 0831@gmail.com. And that's where you would send names and pictures, and we will celebrate their lives in 2025.
I'll make sure that those get put into the show notes.
Do you guys see why I love this man so much?
Oh, yeah. And the reason I brought that up is because we were supposed to have Johnny on the week prior to that event. And of course, he's such a busy man doing what he does with the nonprofit. He was called into work. He couldn't get out of it. And we decided to reschedule. But he did send me the link for that show. And we were actually at an event and ran it all weekend long during our live streams.
Right.
And I got some people who said they heard it from you, so I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
Yeah. If it reaches one, it did its job.
Right. Anytime. And I mean, that email address you gave me, I'm going to, if it's okay with you, I'm going to put that into our permanent show notes, if that's okay.
Oh, please. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that people, it's a sad situation, but it's becoming more and more every day.
Right.
Sure. Hold on just 1 second. I got to get some information here.
No problem. I have a feeling like he's been driving around the same house for like 30 minutes now. That's it there.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of people struggle with that kind of stuff, and they keep it private.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it's like an embarrassing thing. I mean,
but also, if someone's a celebrity and well known, there's that double-edged dichotomy. Well, if I reveal I'm in recovery because of my celebrity, I can help people. And then there's that thing about people wanting to keep it anonymous.
Right.
And I had to make the decision, about 25 years ago, that I couldn't keep it private. First of all, I was getting recognized in places where they help you.
We're the only one with bling.
But that also helps a lot. I didn't used to wear the bling when I got help. I wear the bling now.
Okay.
But because I felt, golly, that they'd be afraid to lose their anonymity, that I might reveal something publicly.
Right.
And then I got involved with the Recovery Network. And, you're watching the Recovery Network, and I was hosting shows for them. So that blew. And then the awards, after a while, it was just, I couldn't hide it any longer. Well, all right. So I'm somewhat of a show business, but John is a huge TV star and loved by baby boomers and anyone who's ever seen his work.
Right.
He made the choice to dedicate a whole lot more of his time to this than to show business. And he has been, I got sober first. I hope I helped him, but he's helped so many people on so many levels,
right?
Religiously, spiritually, with addiction things, and being there for people. That's why he's so busy. And then he's just a whole lot of fun to hang out with. He's a good companion, but he's also a really good man. And he's enriched my life. I can tell you that.
Right. And we did lose him, folks, but he will be back.
But you're gonna lose me in about 3 minutes because I have to go someplace.
Oh yeah,
and be Jeffrey Mark. But I'm so glad you did this. I'm so glad you invited me to be here for John.
Well, I told you that, when we interviewed you originally, I told you backstage after the show, I said, you are part of the family now.
Happily so.
And I also told you you'd end up making the opening reel for season 6. So now that you're a special co-host on multiple shows, you're like a shoo-in.
And here he is.
Hey, sorry about that.
That's okay. No worries.
I was just saying nice things about you.
Oh, well, good. Thank you.
I was too, Ben.
Yes, he
was.
He was.
I was just telling him how much I love you and what a good man you are.
Oh, well, thank you.
So, but I know, Jeffrey, that you have a heart out because you have someplace you have to be. So whenever you have to go, feel free, just drop. And I just want to thank you again for coming and hanging out with us. And of course, we'll talk again.
Let's talk about his book real quick. What's your newest book?
They're not finished yet. But then the latest books are going to be my autobiography, The Devil Was Born in Brooklyn, and the new Lucy book. Hopefully that will both be available for Christmas next year. And I have my show, Jeffrey Mark Plays Ella, and you can hear that on the radio in New York and San Francisco, or on every platform that has a podcast. You can see that there. And I'm sorry you couldn't come to my party, John, but I thought of you when I was singing for 90 minutes. I didn't realize I was on so long. But
wow.
But John is one of those special people in my life that we don't see each other all that often because, again, we're in different cities.
Right.
But when we do, the connection is there. I admire him. I love him. I like him. There's a bed for him in my house anytime he wants to come out here. And it's in a different room now.
You.
Hey. And I'll let them explain what that means. There's nothing naughty here. It's just the joke.
No.
Anyway, buddy,
we slept in the same bed separately.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Because
me and Ben have done
it was
that
feasible.
So hey.
I'm sorry, sir?
Because I'm too cheap to pay for a hotel.
Yeah.
He's not cheap at all, and Happy to have him. Always happy to have him. And both of you, if you're ever in the desert, you're more than welcome to stay with me, because you're part of my family now too.
Excellent.
All right. I'll let you guys be in the wonderful hands of John. John, I'll leave you in the muscular hands of Ben and Jeff. And I'm so glad I had this.
I don't know about Ben. I haven't seen his guns yet, but that's okay. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Okay.
I don't think either one is a loser. They're both winners. So
I think Jeff fell asleep. Either that or he froze up. He might have froze up. I think he's having like issues with his electricity this evening. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I love you all. Have me back as soon as you want. And we will be doing a special show together for New Year's Eve.
That's right. You will be definitely coming back on New Year's Eve. You know, we try to do about 2 to 3 hours on New Year's Eve. We give past guests 15 to 20 minutes to come on, talk about what they've done for the year or the past couple of years, depending on what season they were on. So to our viewers and listeners, make sure you pay attention to that, because I'll be getting that lined up. By early December, I should have all the guests.
And I'll be singing for you then too.
He will.
Well, good.
All right, boys. To everybody and to everyone
thank
watching.
you, Jeffrey. You have a great night.
All the friends and fans watching, love being here with you. Be safe. Be well. God bless. Bye-bye.
Safe travels, my friend. So, yeah. Would you freeze up again?
I don't know. It's the lights when they flicker. I'm getting flickering lights for some reason. So my power drops.
Yeah.
Which boots me off.
It's the East Coast.
Yeah.
You know, it is. It's an East Coast thing.
Right. Right. Well, I'll take the flickering lights and the power drops versus the when everything shakes.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that's fun. We just had a few little earthquakes here about 2 months ago. It's lots of fun.
Right.
It's like a ride, right?
Yeah, you just kind of go with it. Oh, that's an earthquake. Oh, that is an earthquake. And then it ends, and then you call all of your friends and family and say, "Are you okay?" And everybody says, "Yes, we're okay," and we wait for the next one.
Right.
Well, I will say that I would rather deal with earthquakes than tornadoes.
So,
yes, our dear friends down there in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. You know, we got to pray for them.
Yep.
And give them a hedge blessing that things will go well, and that they will,
No, absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely.
Have that kind of a blessing with them.
Yep. I have family in Florida. Jeff and I have a lot of friends down in Southern Florida. And yeah, the phone's been busy for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Sure.
You know, reaching out, making sure everybody's okay. You know, yeah, it's, Mother Nature's a real bitch sometimes.
She is. She can be.
But, it is what it is. So, but real quick, I just want to touch back on the re-release of Sigmund and the Sea Monster, because that was the original reason why we were having you on the first time.
Hold on just 1 second.
Let's see if we lose him again.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. It's like I got this weird flicker.
Well, Jeffrey was saying goodbye, and like your computer screen froze, your eyes were closed, and I'm like, did he fucking fall asleep? And then you were gone, and I'm like, oh, he lost his connection.
Sorry, I'm back.
Oh, no worries. My question was going to be, how do you feel about Sigmund and the Sea Monster, first of all, being re-released, but for a whole new generation to be able to watch that?
I love it when these little kids come up to me and go, "You're not Johnny." I say, "Yeah, I am." And I show them a picture, and they go, "You are." And then I show them the new Sigmund, which is on Amazon Prime, and they go, "Oh, wow!" And I show them my role as Zach, the mayor of Dead Man's Cove.
Right.
And then they kind of, oh, okay. And they see the two generations, but they do say that they like the original better.
Well,
The
I'm the
originals
same
are
way.
always better.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I love the originals of everything.
Of course.
And then there's the remake of this, and the remake of this, and the remake of this, and I go, no.
No, most of them fail.
Right.
Most of them.
So, but it's a whole lot of fun to be able to have all of that with a different new generation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I do need to leave now.
Yep.
But I want to let you guys know that I'm so glad that we finally got this done, even though I was driving in the car. I've been stopped for a little bit. So, and I'm right across the street from the Van Nuys Police Department.
We actually took bets whether or not you were driving around the same block numerous times.
No. I just got off the wrong exit and I had to go up and then down because there was lots of traffic and we got here. But
Okay. Well,
to all your fans and friends and all my fans and friends, just you can go to johnnywhitaker.com, and if you are on Facebook and you go to Johnny Whitaker space actor, you can find my Facebook page.
mm-hmm.
And join that, and you'll get all of the information on the upcoming cruise and my film and my book and all of that's going to be out next year.
Very good.
Awesome.
It has been a pleasure, sir.
Yeah, we want to thank you for coming and taking time, and I'm glad you arrived safely to where you were going, and I'm sure this won't be the last time our paths cross.
Great. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Enjoy
he called you boys. I'll call you gentlemen.
Well, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Take it easy.
All right, take care.
Okay.
Drive safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, Jeffrey.
Yes. Well, that was an interesting show.
Yeah.
What a great dude. He's doing a lot of cool things, a lot of great things. There's a lot of people out there that, they need the help. And I think, like I said, I think I said it before, but it's not a shyness thing. It's a embarrassment kind of a thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We
really didn't get into it because I know a lot of people who have had addictions.
Myself included.
Right. I mean, I personally have never had an addiction. I was always able to, if I wanted to do coke, I did it, and then I put it down. I was able to walk away from things. Booze, I had my fun with it. I just stopped.
Yeah, no, coke got its grip on me. You know that.
Right. Well,
but that was a long time ago.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is, a lot of people. I have relatives that are still addicted to alcohol. I have a son who's addicted to heroin. They have an addictive personality. I thank God never had that problem.
Right.
I've had other issues like anger issues and things like that, but I've never had an addiction get a hold of me. And when I try to talk to relatives or people that have addictions, they'll go, "You don't know what it's like." And I go, "No, you're right. I don't. I'm sorry. I was never addicted."
Right. Right. No, I get that.
I can't be somebody that gives advice on it because I've never been there. You know what I mean?
And you shouldn't, because you've never been there. That's just how it is.
Right.
But for everybody out there that's listening, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help.
Right. And to have people like Jeffrey and Johnny and even Jeremy Miller, who deals with, addiction and speaking on addiction. And there's so many others that we know that do the same things, and even though they are considered celebrities or A-list stars or whatever you want to consider them, they're just normal people, and they will get on the phone with you.
Mm-hmm.
And they will talk to you. They will talk to you about, but it has to be about addiction. You can't call out and be like, "So what was it like?" Because they're just going to click.
Right. No, right. He's on a
that's
mission.
our job. Yeah, that's our job.
Yeah, he's on a mission. So, but yeah, it was a good show. I apologize to everybody that I bumped out.
It is what it is, and that's the price you pay when you run live. Like Johnny being in the car working. I mean, he's doing great things for people.
Right.
But he still took time out of his busy day to talk. So, where can people find us on the socials? I'll close this bitch out.
Stilltoking.com. Toking with the Dead on Facebook. I don't know the Instagram stuff. I don't know the Twitter stuff. But guess what? If you go to stilltoking.com, all of those social links are right there at the top.
Right.
All of them. And all our previous episodes are also available pretty much everywhere.
Right, including Red Coral Universe.
Including Red Coral Universe. And I do want to say, if you missed last week's show, go back and watch that. It's been one of my faves for the last few months.
That was with Michael Bailey Smith.
That was Michael Bailey Smith, who played Pluto in The Hills Have Eyes, and he also played Papa Nun on The Hills Have Eyes too.
Right. He was also in
the very next day after that show. I went and watched both of those movies just because I had to see the scenes he was talking about.
Right.
What a fucking psycho.
He was also in Charmed, which was a very big show.
Yep, exactly. So, but on that note,
so folks, pay attention to stilltoking.com, Toking with the Dead on Facebook. From what I hear, the first animation should be coming.
I wasn't going to say it. I wasn't
relatively in the near future. I'm just leaving it there.
Yeah.
But I
Dal,
want people
if you're watching, pressure's on.
Yeah, the pressure's on, Dal. But in all seriousness, thank you to Jeffrey Mark for hanging out with us tonight, and thank you to Johnny Whitaker for coming on and taking time out of his busy schedule to chat with us. To all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do so people like us can do what we do. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. We're out of here. Peace.
So come on.